Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Kunja Vijana Vallabha Giridhara
श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की हरे कृष्ण भावनपुर की जय श्री ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय श्री गोपाल की ओम सिद्धनाथ ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय 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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेष भद्रेष नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुर्दीनदारिणं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं परमानन्दमाधवं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्द राधकान्द नमस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनद नामे नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So we welcome you all on this auspicious day of Nityanada Trayodasi. Today we will discuss from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 29, entitled The Explanation of Devotional Service, and Sloka number 32. Please repeat after me. Artha, Jnana, Samshaya, Chetha, Tatha, Shreyan, Swakarmakrit, Mukta, Sangha, Tato, Bhuyam, Adogdha, Dharmam, Atmana, Arthaඥāt samshayaccheta, Tata Shreyan Swakarmakrit, Mukta Sangastado Bhuyam, Adogdha Dharmam Atmana, Arthaඥāt samshayaccheta, Shreyan Swakarmakrit, Mukta Sangastado Bhuyam, Adogdha Dharmam Atmana, Arthaඥāt samshayaccheta, Tata Shreyan Swakarmakrit, Mukta Sangastado Bhuyam, Adogdha Dharmam Atmana,
Arthaඥāt samshayaccheta, Shreyan Swakarmakrit, Mukta Sangastado Bhuyam, Adokta dharmamatmanah
Arthagnat samshayat cheta Shreyam swakarma krit Sangastato bhuyam Dharmamatmana
Arthagnat samshayat cheta Shreyam swakarma krit Sangastato bhuyam Adogda dharmam atmana
Matajas.
Arthagnat samshaya cheta Shreyan swakarma krit Mukta sangastato bhuyam Dharma atmana Arthagnat samshaya cheta Shreyan swakarma krit Mukta sangastato bhuyam Adogda dharma Arthagnat samshaya cheta Shreyan swakarma krit Mukta sangastato bhuyam Adogda dharma
Arthagnat. Than one who knows the purpose of the Vedas. Samshaya, doubts. Cheta, one who cuts off. Tata, than him. Shreya, better. Swakarma, his prescribed duties. Krit, one who executes. Mukta Sangha, liberated from material association. Tata, than him. Bhuyan, better. Adogda, not executing. Dharmam, devotional service. Atmana, for himself. Translation and purport of His loving divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation: better than the Brahmana who knows the purpose of the Vedas is he who can dissipate all doubts, and better than him is one who strictly follows the Brahmanical principles. Better than him is one who is liberated from all material contamination, and better than him is a pure devotee who executes devotional service without expectation of reward. Please repeat. Better than the Brahmana who knows the purpose of the Vedas is he who can dissipate all doubts, and better than him is one who strictly follows the Brahmanical principles. Better than him is one who is liberated from all material contamination, and better than him is a pure devotee who executes devotional service without expectation of reward. Purport: Arthajna Brahmana refers to one who has made a thorough analytical study of the absolute truth and who knows that the absolute truth is realized in three different phases, namely
Brahman,
Brahman,
Paramatma,
Paramatma, and Bhagavan. If someone not only has this knowledge but is able to clear all doubts if questioned about the absolute truth, he is considered better. Further, there may be a learned Brahmana, Vaishnava, who can explain clearly and eradicate all doubts. But if he does not follow the Vaishnava principles, then he is not situated on a higher level. One must be able to clear all doubts and simultaneously be situated in the Brahmanical characteristics. Such a person who knows the purpose of the Vedic injunctions, who can employ the principles laid down in the Vedic literatures and who teaches his disciples in that way, is called an Acharya. The position of an acharya is that he executes devotional service with no desire for elevation to a higher position of life. The highest perfectional Brahmana is the Vaishnava. A Vaishnava who knows the science of the absolute truth but is not able to preach such knowledge to others is described as being in the lower stage. One who not only understands the principles of the science of God but can also preach is in the second stage, and one who not only can preach but who also sees everything in the absolute truth. And the absolute truth and everything is in the highest class of Vaishnavas. It is mentioned here that a Vaishnava is already a Brahmana. In fact, the highest stage of Brahmanical perfection is reached when one becomes a Vaishnava. Translation: better than the Brahmana who knows the purpose of the Vedas is he who can dissipate all doubts, and better than him is one who strictly follows the Brahmanical principles. Better than him is one who is liberated from all material contamination, and better than him is a pure devotee who executes devotional service without expectation of reward. So we are having a wonderful week. This week is very special. You know why? We have 3 festivals in a row. We started off with Vijay Ekadashi on Wednesday. Then we had Varaha Dvadashi on Thursday. And today we are having Jai Shri Nityanada Trayodashi Ki Jai. So we have hit a hat-trick. 3 festivals in a row. And for Vijay Ekadashi we were fasting, for Varaha Dvadashi we were feasting, and today we are fasting and feasting. Jai Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Like someone, I think Guru Maharaj once after a class asked this question: who is more merciful, Krishna or Balram? So one devotee immediately stood up and said, Guru Maharaj, it's Balram. And Guru Maharaj asked, why? You know why? What answer he gave? He said, for Krishna's appearance day, there is full day fasting. For Balram's appearance day, there is only half day fasting. So similarly, it looks like Nityananda Prabhu is more merciful than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because today we fast only half day. Anyway, so here Kapila is explaining the aspects of devotional service to his own very mother Devahuti. Kardama Prajapati has already left home. So now Devahuti is under the protection of Kapila. So here, a key word is Brahmana. So many times this word is being repeated. I'm not sure with other languages, but in Malayalam, there is a concept called a Pariyaya Pada in schools. In English, maybe we can translate it as synonyms. You have studied synonyms? Yes. Different words, same meaning. So usually in the schools they teach the synonyms of Brahmana as Vipra and Dvija. That's how we have studied. Brahmana, Vipra, Dvija, they are all synonyms. But strictly speaking, they are not synonyms. They all represent different concepts. The scriptures mention that everybody is born as a Shudra. Janmana Jayate Shudra. Then how does become one? How does a person become a Dvija? Actually in this universe there are only 2 entities who are called as Dvija. One is a human being who takes that is at the age of 7 normally, he's offered Yajnopavita, right? Then he becomes a Dvija. And there is another entity which is also twice born. You know what it is?
Serpent.
Birds. Birds are also twice born. You know how? First, the mother bird lays the eggs, first birth. Then it has to hatch and the chickling comes out. So it is born again. So in Sanskrit, the birds are also known as Dvija. So when we are born, we are in the state of Prakrita Purusha. That is what the scriptures say. Prakrita means what? Not civilized, uncultured. And how do we become civilized? When we accept to follow the Vedic injunctions. And that is known as what?
Dharma.
Dharma, or that is the time when an Yajnaopavidam is given. Brahminical thread is given. So when a Shudra, that is he was born as a Shudra, and he is accepting the Vedic injunctions, then he becomes twice born. And that time he is known as Dvija. But the problem with the Dvija stage is he is too young to understand the logic behind the Vedic injunctions. He follows so many things because his parents told him to follow those things. But then his faith is very soft. That means the moment someone makes fun of him, someone says, "Why are you wearing a tilak like this? Why have you put 2 parallel lines on your forehead? Why are you wearing something like a dog's collar around your neck? Why are you having a tuft of hair like the tail of a rat?" Now, when they make fun of that person like this, then he becomes ashamed. Right? Why? Because his faith is very soft. He's just following it mechanically. But then, when he understands the logic behind the Vedic injunctions, then he goes to the next stage, which is known as Vipra. So Dvija is different, Vipra is different. In the Vipra stage, he doesn't do things mechanically. He knows why he is doing such and such things. He does with knowledge. Now you may ask, why are we not teaching the Dvija, the logic behind Vedic injunctions? Isn't it? Normally what we do, we teach them first and then we ask them to follow it. But here what is happening? We ask them to follow it first and then we are teaching them. Don't you think it should be the other way around? Isn't it? But why they are doing like this is, you can form habits when you are young. It is very easy to form habits. So at a young age, it is better that we tell them to do like this, don't do like this, then they will easily make it as their habit. But if you start explaining the logic behind all those do's and don'ts, they may not be in a position to understand it because they are too young. Hardly they are 7 or 8 years old. So that's why Acharyas say first make them follow certain things. It will become their habit. Then you teach them why you are doing this. Then, even in the Vipra stage, this person knows theoretically why he is doing this. But then he has not realized it. There is a difference between understanding something intellectually and realizing it, isn't it? So when he starts realizing whatever he has learned from the scriptures, then he comes to the stage of Brahma. Then only he is a Brahma. Understood? So here Srila Prabhupada is speaking in the purport that a Vaishnava is situated on a higher plane than the Brahma. Sometimes what happens is, I heard this in a lecture by His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. So he was sharing his experience when he was visiting Dwarka. So from Dwarka he went to Bet Dwarka. You had been to that place? Bet Dwarka. It's an island, you remember? You have to take a ferry across. Yes. And that's where Krishna had his kingdom in Dwapara. So when he went there, he saw a group of children. They were chanting Vedic mantras so beautifully. He was so much impressed by their chanting. Small kids. So then he called them and he asked them, who is your guru? Then they said, he's sitting there. So Maharaj went and met the guru. And they were having a chit chat. And then the guru said, you know why Krishna was killed? This was the word he used. You know why Krishna was killed? Maharaj was shocked. What? Yes, there is a reason behind that. When he was here in this world as Lord Rama, he killed Vali from behind the trees. So because of that sin, no, not the word, because of that sin, he was born again as Krishna, and Vali was born again as the hunter, and he got a chance to take the revenge. Who is it? He's a Vedic Pandit. He's teaching kids. So what's the problem here? Huh? Why he is not realized? Why he is not realized? Why do you think so? Because first of all, he said what? You know why Krishna was killed? Can anyone kill Krishna? He's a supreme personality of Godhead. He only kills others in Mahabharata. You cannot kill him. Right? Then what he said? He accrued a sin. He is apapa vidya. In Ishavanishad it is mentioned. Isn't it? No sin can touch him. And then what he said? In order to suffer for his sin. Suffer. Will Krishna suffer? No. Then again what he said? He was born again. So externally it looks like this person is very learned. But then at the crux of the matter, he doesn't have any realization. Not realization. So this is the problem. If you mechanically mug up Vedas. And in another lecture where Radhanath Maharaj was hearing, once Radhanath Maharaj met a Bhagavatam exponent. And he had a wonderful talent of recollecting whichever shloka you say from Bhagavatam. So how many shlokas are there in Bhagavatam? 18,000 verses. So if you say first canto, second chapter, third shloka, you will immediately blurt it out. Third canto, second chapter, first shloka, you will immediately say. You will explain the meaning. So everyone was impressed. And then when the program was over, he went to his room. And Maharaj also was passing by and he was seeing smoke coming from his room. So Maharaj thought maybe there is some fire or something. He just peeped in. This guy was smoking bidi. And he knows Bhagavatam in and out. Any shloka you ask, he can say. Isn't it? So, by hearting shlokas, learning scriptures in an intellectual way, they are all totally different from realizing Krishna. So that is done by a Vaishnava. Right? Like, how many qualities Krishna possesses? 64. How many qualities a Vaishnava possesses? Only 26. Right? If you read Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, I think the chapter is known as the process of devotional service. There is a chapter entitled Process of Devotional Service in Madhya Lila. There Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing Sanatana Goswami. And there Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is detailing 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. And you know why a Vaishnava is so special? Because he has got a wonderful quality. And in that list of 26 qualities, do you know which is the first quality mentioned? Anyone remembers? Kripalu. It is the first quality mentioned there. Kripalu. Kripalu means what? Merciful. Merciful. That is the trademark of a Vaishnava. The core of his heart, he is very merciful. Now, there are so many instances of mercy that we can see around. Now, I will tell you a few instances. You listen carefully. And towards the end, I will pose a question. Okay, ready? So, there is an Acharya, you must be very familiar with him, Adi Shankaracharya. Right? And he took sannyas at a very young age. At the age of 7, he accepted sannyas. So after he took sannyas, he was going around begging for alms. And he went to one particular house. And a lady was sitting outside the house in the veranda. And as soon as she saw Shankaracharya, sannyasi, coming to beg alms from her, she was so much in jubilation. She said, "Please wait. I'll go inside and bring you some alms." So in those days, when sannyasis come for begging, they usually give grains. That's what they give. So she ran inside the kitchen. And she frantically searched everywhere. And to her utter shock, she found that there is not even a single grain in her house. And she searched everywhere. No grain, no wheat, nothing is there. So she felt ashamed. In fact, tears started welling up in her eyes. A sannyasi, such a cute small boy, is waiting outside. And she said, "I will give you something." And now she doesn't have anything to give. So she just peeped outside through the window. She was having a desire, maybe it's little longer, the time has gone. So maybe the sannyasi left. Actually, it is mentioned in scriptures that sannyasis wait for alms till the time that is required to milk cow. That's all. That is the time they are going to wait. But that much time has already lapsed. But Shankaracharya is still waiting. So with a heavy heart, she came outside and said, "I'm very sorry. I don't have anything to offer to you." Then Shankaracharya said, "Mother, it's fine. You go and search inside your kitchen. You don't have to strictly offer me grains or rice or wheat or anything like that. You can offer me anything which is eatable. Please go and see." Then this lady again ran inside. She frantically searched everywhere. And finally, she got one gooseberry. In Kerala and all that, what we do is, when we get gooseberry, we'll boil some water and we'll dissolve some salt in it and then put some chilies. There is a kind of small chili known as a Gandhari molag. And we'll put it inside and we'll put this gooseberry, we'll cut it on 4 sides and put it inside. And it will stay there for many days. It's very tasty. So she found one small gooseberry. And then she immediately took it and she came and offered it to Shankaracharya. And Shankaracharya very gracefully accepted it. Now, the question is, Shankaracharya very well understood that this lady doesn't have anything to offer. Right? But even then, why he waited against the rule? He was not supposed to wait so long. He waited more than time that was allocated to him. And then why he again insisted that she should offer him something? Why?
You want to give something.
Why?
Want to give.
He wanted her to serve her dharma.
Huh?
He wanted her to give an opportunity to serve her dharma.
So Shankaracharya understood the eagerness and the sincerity of the lady. So Shankaracharya was so merciful that he wanted to give her an opportunity to serve a sannyasi. so that she gets the benefit. And then this lady gave this gooseberry, Shankaracharya took that gooseberry, then he recited a stotram and then he left. That's it. He recited on stotram and he left. And the lady went inside and then she is seeing the whole roof is broken down. And on the ground there is a pile of gold coins. You know how those coins came? Because Shankaracharya recited one stotram. Now don't ask me what is that stotram. I know you will ask. Can you tell me what is the stotram? Card number 606895. So Shankaracharya actually blessed her. And the name of that stotram is Kanakadhara Stotram. In India, whether they are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I don't know, but so many people are chanting Kanakadhara Stotram and looking at the roof. But till now, not even a single coin fell down from the sky. Why? Because you are not Shankaracharya. So you have to be realized so that the mantra takes effect. So this is an incident of mercy, isn't it? Wherein an Acharya gave mercy to someone. Now, there was another Acharya by the name Narayana Tirtha. So he was very much fond of doing bhajans. So he used to go around in the streets doing bhajans. So one day when he was in that Harinam Sankirtan bhajan, suddenly from a house nearby, he heard the piteous cry of a lady. So he immediately ran towards that house, and there he saw that one man is lying down, and this lady has kept that man, she has kept his head on her lap, and she is weeping bitterly, and by her side a small child is sitting, probably 1 year old, and the child is also crying. So this Narayana Tirtha asked, what happened? Mother, why are you crying? What happened to this person? Who is this person? So she said, this is my husband and this is my child. Just now a poisonous serpent, bit my husband, and I think he is already passed away. And I don't have anybody else in this world. I just had my husband and my child, and now if he has left me, then how will I live? Who will take care of my child? So he was crying so piteously. So somehow Narayana Tirtha felt so much compassion for this lady that he immediately started singing a kirtan in glorification of Garuda Dev. So when he started singing, immediately everyone heard the flapping of wings, puff, puff, like that. A huge bird is coming from the horizon. You know who it was? Garuda Dev came. Garuda Dev came, and Garuda Dev just circled around that house, and during that process, the shadow of Garuda Dev's wings fell on this dead man. Garuda Dev just circled the house once and flew off. And just because the shadow of Garuda Dev fell on this dead person, he immediately got up. So now why this Acharya called for Garuda Dev? Why? What is the reason? Because this person died out of snake bite. So whenever you are stung by poisonous creatures like scorpion, snake or whatever it is, first thing that you have to remember is Garuda Dev. Garuda Dev can take away all the poisons. And this lady was very happy. She got back her husband. In fact, she got back her life. So this is another incidence of mercy. Right? Now, there was another Acharya. His name was Nathamuni in Tamil Nadu. And he had a son, and his son passed away at a very young age. And then he had a grandson. His name was Yamuna. And this Nathamuni wanted to train this grandson Yamuna into a Vaishnava. So Yamuna was admitted into a Vaishnava Gurukul. And there was a learned Vaishnava Guru, his name was Bhashyacharya. And Yamunacharya was studying there. When he reached the age of 12, his guru went to a far off place for some errand. What is his guru's name? Bhashyacharya. Right? I was just checking whether you are here or it's going to be. You are here. Thank you. So, Bhashyacharya was on an errand. So this Yamuna was alone in the Gurukul. Suddenly a couple of men stormed inside the Gurukul and they asked, where is your Guru? He said, he has gone out on an errand. How dare he goes out of the city without paying the tax that he is supposed to remit? Then Yamuna asked, what tax? Why my Guru should pay you tax? Yes, your Guru was defeated by our Guru in a debate, and as per the agreement, he is supposed to pay a tax every year, but his tax is pending for the last 2 years. You tell your Guru to pay off the tax as soon as he comes, otherwise he will have to face serious consequences. Like that he started speaking. When Yamuna heard his Guru being offended, he became angry. Then he said, what kind of Guru is yours? Hasn't your Guru taught you to be humble? How arrogant you are. I don't think your Guru is a real Guru. I want to meet him. This boy is saying. What is his age? Just 12 years old. He is a 12-year-old boy studying in the Gurukul. And he is challenging the greatest Pandit in the whole region of Mathura. And the Pandit's name is Akki Alwan. He is also known as Kolahala. So everyone will, tremble when they hear his name. He is such a ferocious Pandit. And whoever fails in debate with him, they have to become his slave and pay a tax every year. If they don't pay the tax, they can be jailed. So, such a Guru is Akki Alwan, and this 12-year-old boy is saying, I want to meet him. Then his disciples, they became very angry. They said, we will teach you a lesson, you see. They went and reported this to Akki Alwan. And Akki Alwan reported this to the king. And the king immediately sent a soldier. And he said, who is Yamuna here? The soldiers came to Gurukul. And he said, I am Yamuna. Why did you speak like this? No, he is such a respectable person. You will be arrested. Then this boy said, why you should arrest me? I will debate with him. Give me a chance. If he is a real Pandit, let him debate with me. Then I will accept him. Then whatever you want, you do with me. Then the message went back to the king, and the king is surprised. A 12-year-old boy is challenging the greatest Pandit. And this Pandit also said, okay, let him come. I will finish him off in a moment. Let him come. So, Yamuna was taken to the court. Just when he was about to leave to the court, his Guru came. The Guru asked, where are you going? He said, I am going to fight with Akki Alwan. Oh my gosh, you are going to fight with Akki Alwan. He defeated me. You don't know what kind of Pandit he is. He is a very cruel person. He will punish you. He said, don't worry, Gurudev. If you bless me, I will definitely be victorious. And this boy was so adamant to go. Finally, the Guru blessed him. And he said, just like a dwarf defeated such a mighty Asura king, let you also be able to defeat this great Pandit. Who is the dwarf and who is the Asura king? So why the Guru blessed like that? Because when Vamanadev came, he was so small, So everybody thought, what this guy is going to do? Isn't it? Even Mahabali thought like that. Mahabali in fact laughed. When Vamanadev asked, I just want 3 feet of land. Only 3 feet. With your small foot you are going to measure, yes. But then, what happened we know, right? So, he got the blessings of his Guru and he went to the court. And as soon as the boy came, he was so effulgent, such a small boy. The queen got so much attracted to this boy that the queen said, something tells me that this boy is going to win. Then the king said, come on, he is just 12-year-old. He will be defeated in no time. No. I think he will win. Then the king asked, are you serious? Yes, I am serious. How serious are you? Then the queen said, in case this boy fails, I will become the maidservant of my maidservant. She became very serious. Then the king said, okay, if you are so serious, in case he wins, I will give him half of my kingdom. Things became very serious now. This is the agreement. So the Pandit came, Akyalvan came, and Yamuna also was there. And Akyalvan said, there's such a chota fellow, you start the debate. Whatever you want, you ask, I will answer. Then Yamuna said, see, once upon a time, a chota fellow like me defeated a big Pandit in a very gracious court. Do you know? He said, what? Which fellow? Which court? Who defeated? He didn't know. So what Yamuna was referring to, He was referring to Ashtavakra. He defeated a great Pandit called Bandi in the court of Janaka. So then this Pandit became little, shaken. Thought this guy knows things. Even he didn't know that. And then on top of that, Yamuna said, if you are going to judge the knowledge of a person by his size, then a water buffalo is a better scholar than you. That's what he said. A water buffalo is a better scholar than you, Akyalvan. Why? Because the buffalo is in size, he is far bigger than this Pandit. Then he got humiliated. He said, okay, then I am going to shoot you with questions. And he started asking questions. Very difficult questions he asked. After 2-3 questions, Yamuna said, stop. Why are you wasting my time? Why are you asking such kindergarten level of questions? Actually, this Pandit asked the toughest questions that he knew. And after 3 questions, this boy is saying, this is kindergarten level. Come on, grow up. Don't you have anything better to ask? Then he said, okay. Then what you do? You ask me questions. You know better questions, no? You ask me questions. Then Yamuna thought for a while and he said, by what I understood about you, with the limited interaction that I had with you, I don't think you will be able to answer my questions. You're a chota fellow. Okay? Instead, I will do one thing. I'll give you one statement. You just prove that that statement is wrong. That's all. You don't have to answer questions. Then this guy is so humiliated. And he said, okay, you tell me what is your statement. I'll prove it wrong. Then he said, this is my first statement. But before that, give me your introduction. Who are you? Then this Akyalvan stood up and said, I am the only son of my parents and the only Pandit in this whole kingdom. That is my introduction. So what is that? I am the only son of my parents and the only Pandit in my kingdom. And he said, okay, thank you. Then Yamuna gave the first statement. He said, just prove that. I'll come up with a statement. You have to prove that this statement is wrong. My statement is this. Your mother is not barren. Your mother is not barren. That means what? Barren means a lady who doesn't have a child. So the statement is your mother is not a barren woman. So that means what he has to prove? That his mother is a barren woman. How can he do that? Isn't it? He already said, I am the only son. So that means that lady is not barren. So he's perplexed. How can you prove this? It's an impossible statement to prove. Then he started growing pale. Then Yamuna waited for a few minutes. He said, you don't know? And he said, no, this is some problem. There is something wrong here. He said, nothing is wrong. Okay, I will give you one more chance. I will come up with another statement. You can prove this wrong. You leave the first statement. I know you can't do it. Then this person is getting humiliated every minute. It's a psychological attack launched by Yamuna. So they said, then what is your second statement? I will definitely prove that it is wrong. Okay. This king of ours is supremely righteous. What? Come again? This king of ours is supremely righteous. So what this scholar has to prove?
Not righteous.
That he is not righteous. He is such a wicked fellow, sinful fellow. Like that he has to prove. And the king is sitting and watching. Earlier, his face turned pale. Now his face turned white. How can you do that? Even if he does that, he will not live long to see anything else. So then he said, no, this is cheating. Nobody can prove this statement. Then Yamuna was very cool. Cool down. Don't worry. I'll give you one more chance if you want. You want one more chance? Then he doesn't know what to say. He says, give me one more chance. This time I'll prove it wrong. Okay. He said, this time I'll give you a very simple statement. The statement is, the queen, our queen, she's faithful to our king, like Savitri. And his head started reeling. So what he has to prove? The queen is not faithful to the king. And the queen is also sitting and watching. Okay, go ahead. And he said, you rascal, how dare you say things like that to Yamuna? He started scolding Yamuna and he said, this guy should be jailed. He has come to humiliate me. This is not a fair game. Like that he started shouting. Yamuna was very cool. He was looking here up and down. Then when he finished, he said, done? You are done? Always when people fail, they do like this. I know. I have seen. This is your trick. You know, when people play chess, when they are checkmated, what they will do, they will hit everything. They will push all the board. You are doing exactly like that. You are failing. And why are you shouting like this? You agree that you failed. Then the scholar said, okay, I will become your slave, but then you have to prove all the three statements. Then I will agree. Then Yamuna said, okay, what was my first statement? You said that my mother is barren. How is it possible? I am her son. And he said, have you read Manu Samhita? I said, yes. Yeah. In Manu Samhita, there is a statement which says, if a woman has only one child, she can be considered barren. There is a rule in Manu Samhita. This Chota fella knows all Manu Samhita. Okay, that is okay, but how will you prove the second statement? So what was the second statement? The king is supremely righteous. And he said in the same Manusamhita, you don't have to go anywhere else. It is mentioned that the king will accrue 1/6 of all the pious activities done by his subjects, and the king will also get 1/6 of all the sinful activities done by his subject. So then what does that mean? Even though the king is personally righteous, a very dharmic person, his subjects must be doing some sinful activities, isn't it? That is why there is a jail, so many criminals are there. So many of his subjects are doing sinful activities. So is he getting papa? Yes. So he is not righteous person. That is also proved. Then he said, okay, that's all okay. How will you prove the third statement? I challenge you, you cannot prove this. Then Yamuna coolly said, again in the same Manu Samhita, you don't have to go anywhere else, it is mentioned that the king is a representative of 8 demigods. Agni, Vayu, Varuna, Kubera, Yama, Indra, Surya and Chandra. How many? What are they?
Agni, Vayu, Varuna, Surya, Kubera.
Once more I tell. 8 demigods. Agni, Vayu, Varuna, Kubera, Yama, Indra, Surya, Chandra. Who wants to try? All the 8. Not all the 8. In a group, maybe we'll sing in chorus. So anyway, the king is a representative of all these 8 demigods. So the moment the queen married the king, it is equal to marrying 8 people. So how can she be faithful to one person? Right? So she is not faithful to the king alone. She is faithful to all the other 8 people also. So that is also proven. So immediately the queen jumped up and said, Alavantara! Like that she shouted. Because she was the person who was getting so tense. She has waged a bet on him. And what did she shout? Alavantara. That means what? It's a Tamil word. You have come here to conquer, rule. And he got that name. From that day onwards, he was known as Alavantar. And then the king, true to his words, gave half of the kingdom. And now what happened? A 12-year-old boy became the king. In no time, he became the king. Just imagine, just 12 years old, he is now the king. And then this boy is so smart, he started ruling the kingdom. He started ruling. And then slowly, a couple of years passed. He's now become a full-fledged, busy king. Now, everyone else is happy except one person when he became a king. You know who? Nada Muni. Why? Because he wanted him to become a Vaishnava, Acharya. But now he has become a king. Yeah. So then Nada Muni was about to leave his body, so he called one of his faithful disciples. His name was Ram Mishra. And then he said, you have to somehow bring my grandson back to his spiritual responsibility. Right? I don't know how you are going to do it, but somehow you do it. I don't have time. And after some days he left the body. So this Ram Mishra came to meet the king. Who is Ram Mishra?
Disciple of
The disciple. So he said, he said to the secretaries, he said, I wanted to meet the king. So they went inside and said, no, the king is in a meeting. You cannot come meet him today. You come tomorrow. Then next day he came. Then he said, the king has gone for a tour. You cannot meet today. You come after 1 week. Like that, he went there so many times. But somehow he couldn't meet Yamuna, Alavandar. So like this, many days passed. So finally what this Ram Mishra did, he went to the forest and collected a special spinach. It is known as Tudu Valai Kire. It's a very special spinach. You know, it's available in Tamil Nadu. It's very tasty and it has got medicinal properties. So he took that spinach and he gave it to the cook of the king. And he said, I am coming from such and such place. I am the well-wisher of your king. Actually, I am a disciple of your king's grandfather and all. Can you please cook this spinach for the king so that the king will become very healthy? And the same day, the cook made a delicacy out of this spinach, Tuduvalakire, and served it to the king. And when Yamuna ate that, he liked it so much. He said, make sure that I have this spinach every day. And every day, Ram Mishra started giving this spinach to the cook. Like this, it continued for 1 full month. Suddenly, one day, Ram Mishra did not come. So that day for the lunch, there is no spinach sabji. So the king asked, where is the spinach sabji? Then he said, I'm sorry, Maharaja. Actually, we don't buy it from the market. A sage brings it to us. Who is that? He's saying it's Ram Mishra, he knows you very well. Oh, really? Next time when he comes, you bring him to me. I want to meet him. I want to talk to him. So next day, Ram Mishra again came. You know, you're so intelligent. And then he said, the king wants to meet you, but he will be busy. No. He said, as soon as you come, you have to go and meet him. So immediately he was taken to the king. And he went to the king and he said, oh king, actually, I have a big responsibility on my shoulders. I have something to pass on to you. Can you please receive it? He said, what? Your grandfather has given me your Kuladhanam to me. You know what is Kuladhanam? Family property. This property belongs to your grandfather, but now he wants to pass it on to you. Can you please receive it? Then the king said, okay, where should I come? He said, it's a little far off place. We have to travel there. Okay, then he called the minister. Okay, let all the entourage be ready. Tomorrow we are traveling. Let the chariots be ready. Let the horses be ready. Then Ram Mishra said, no. You have to come as a common man, not as a king. And you got to walk. You have to take some austerity to take over this Kuladhanam. This is very special. Then the king said, okay, fine. And then they started, next day they started walking. And when they were walking, now the king is so free. No royal duties, he's all alone with this Ram Mishra. On the way, Ram Mishra started talking to him about Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yogam, Jnana Yogam, Bhakti Yogam. So every day, it took some days for them to complete the journey. And he was completely discussing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, etc. And finally they reached Sri Rangam. And then the king asked, where is the wealth, that family property that you are talking about? It's here only. And then Ram Mishra took him straight away into the temple and he took him in front of Lord Ranganatha. And the doors opened and said, behold your Kuladhanam. This is your property, you please take it. As soon as the king saw Ranganatha, he immediately fell down flat in front of Ranganatha, paid his obeisances, and profuse tears started coming down from his eyes. And he said, thank you so much for giving me back my Kuladhanam. And from that day onwards, he left all his kingly duties and then he became a great saint by the name Yamunacharya. So, is Ranganatha the Kuladhanam of Yamunacharya alone, or is Ranganatha the Kuladhanam of all of us? What do you think? How many of you think that Ranganatha is all, it's ours also? Only few people. Actually, Ranganatha is the Kuladhanam of everyone. He is the Lord, isn't it? But then we are like Yamuna. We are not realizing it. Instead of taking that dhanam, that treasure, we are running behind some other treasures, isn't it? So now, in the beginning of the class, I told you I am going to ask you a question, right? So I told you 3 incidents of mercy. First incident from Shankaracharya. What he gave that lady?
Gooseberry.
A lot of gold coins. That's how he showed mercy. Second incident, Narayana Tirtha. What he gave that lady? The life of her husband. Third incident, Yamunacharya. What Ram Mishra gave? The Lord himself. Which is the greatest act of mercy?
Third one.
Why? Huh? Because that is the real treasure, isn't it? The rest everything will come and go. Shankaracharya gave gold coins, but how long it will last? That Narayana Tirtha gave back the life, but how far he is going to live? Anyway he will die. But this is the real treasure. And this treasure was given so freely to us by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Auspicious day of Nityananda Mahaprabhu's appearance, and Nityananda Prabhu is also appeared here just to give out that dhanam freely to us. He is there waiting to hand over that Kuladhanam, family property, to you. How many of you are ready to receive it from Nityananda Prabhu? So how do you receive it? By chanting loudly, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions? Yeah.
First story you told, the Pandit told that Krishna is killed. That what is the actual, how to understand?
So he said Krishna was killed. But who is Krishna? He is Supreme Personality of Godhead. A person who is born can be killed, isn't it? If someone is not born, can anyone kill that person? No. So the scriptures say, Ajayamano Bhaguda Vijayate. That means the unborn is born many times. That means when Krishna appears in this world, he is not born as like us through a mother's womb. We come here to suffer our papa and punya. But why Krishna appears? He appears to deliver us. Isn't it? That's why we always say Krishna appears. We don't usually say Krishna is born. So Acharyas are saying it is like the sun rising. We think that sun is rising from the east, but is actually the sun rising? No, the sun is always there. It appears to us like it is rising. So when you say Krishna is killed, that means you are bringing down Krishna to the level of a normal human being who is suffering in this samsara. That is why it is wrong. You understood? You have a question? Can I take that question or is it late? One question? Yes. Yeah.
He saw Ranganatha. He was actually in the material world, right? He was thinking his desires.
Yeah.
What was that momentum which triggered? We are in the material, we don't get triggered with that.
Okay. So the question is, when Yamunacharya had darshan of Ranganatha, he immediately understood that it is his Kuladhanam, his own property. But then why we are not having that kind of feeling when we see the Lord? Is that your question?
He was in the material world.
Yeah.
Suddenly triggered. We are also in the material world.
Yeah. So what is the triggering point? Right? Yes. See, the triggering point is either it comes through our own sadhana or it comes through the mercy of acharyas. Technically speaking, it can come through sadhana also, but it is very difficult. We know how we chant our rounds. It's better not to discuss in this audience. So, it's ruled out. Then, how should the triggering point come? It should come through the mercy of acharyas. Acharyas, the Guru Parampara, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. So that is why we have to very earnestly pray, especially on such days, that please bring me close to that triggering point. That is possible only by their causeless mercy, not by our own efforts alone. Okay. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai.